Hi, I'm Lisa with Unlimited Book Reviews, and today's review is for Edger by David Beem. There's the cover there, and it says, "He has a good head on his shoulders and another 108 billion in his brain." That's pretty cool. So this book is under the genre fantasy superhero. That's its highest ranking on Amazon.com. Right now it's currently at $13.92 there in that genre. It's not in a series, but it's definitely left open that it could be, so you never know. The book is 365 pages, right? So the main characters in it, we have our hero. His name is Edger Bonkovich. And then I put in his sidekick as Mary Thomas. She's actually someone that he's introduced to early on in the book, and she ends up being very helpful. It's written in the first person with point of view switches between different people, mostly Edger, but there are quite a few secondary characters and stuff that have their own chapters, everything from supporting characters to bad guys, so it's really good. So the book description: meet Edger, a 26-year-old gadget retail dork destined to become the world's first superhero. His superpower: the ability to channel the collective unconscious, a psychic network connecting the living and the dead. In his arsenal are the skills of Bruce Lee, the strength of Samson, the wisdom of the ages, and the dancing chops of Michael Jackson, including that one twisty foot move, crotch grab, and fedora tilt. But there's a catch. Like every psychic superpower to get administered through a hypodermic needle, this one comes with a prick. Someone seems to have misplaced the booster necessary for stabilizing his superpower. Without it, Edger has 3 days before his brain turns to pudding. Join our dork of destiny as he overcomes the world's greatest butt, 2 rival chuck-and-pray gangs, an evil cow, a Green Bay defense tackle, rifle-toting assassins, and a pair of stoners who inadvertently create the world's first supervillain after a wild night on Twitter. So about the plot and character development of our superhero in this book. I would say when a young orphan man is approached by a past college buddy to take an untested drug that could melt his brain, but if not, he would be a superhero, he starts to learn that much of what he believed about his past and parents is not true. He's put on a tight deadline to save the world and himself, and it turns into an adventure that makes him answers many questions about his family. In the process of saving himself and others, he accepts his new identity and embraces the lifestyle and position he now has to live with. So that's how I would kind of sum it up. So the storyline in this book, definitely very original. Has some suspense for sure. Lots of humor. Very funny. Some drama and conflict, yeah. A little bit of mystery. And then lots of action. It is a superhero book. So we meet our superhero about 3% into the book. And at first it was kind of confusing because a lot of times you meet the person that, the book is about right off the bat, but it doesn't start like that. So it's quite good when you do meet him. And then he's propositioned around 11% into the book. And he actually turns into our superhero around 22% into the book. So there's a bit of backstory before that. And then, of course, he saves the day by 93% into the book. There are some people dying in here, but there's no weird darkness or gore or anything like that. There is a little bit of romance, a secondary plot that we're not even sure whether it's a good thing or not. And it definitely winds down with saving the day, but it is definitely open to sequels. So the writing, this was written by David Beem, and the style, I would call it intermediate, written in the first person. And the only reason I would say it was intermediate, it was written very well, no weird typos or anything like that, but just with the way it kind of hopped around, and sometimes you're in someone else's head and you're not really sure who that is, or those sorts of things, but definitely well written. No weird inconsistencies, nothing at the end of the book where I was like, oh, I wonder what happened to this. Nothing like that. And then I see that David Beem has 2 books out. This particular one is the one that's in Kindle Unlimited right now. Did I like it? Yeah, it was definitely good. It was a good superhero book. Very, very funny. So quotes highlighted by the readers, there weren't really any in there, so I picked out 3 of my favorites for here. Advice like that is the mental equivalent of a bird crashing into a glass door. And there's lots of little play on words like that throughout this book. I naturally did what any red-blooded, virile heterosexual male in my situation would do. I blanked. And that was Edger. And then I hope everyone else's politics will settle down long enough to see my intentions for what they are. The rainbow flag, a symbol of love conquering hate. And that's a nice sentiment to this book. Can apply to so much. So right now there's 13 reviews on Amazon.com with a perfect 5 out of 5 rating because it's such a good book. Jennifer Greenlee says, I really enjoyed this spy, sci-fi, superhero, good versus evil, surreal story by David Beem. Lots of amusing characters and plot twists, complete with psychic communion with Bruce Lee. I look forward to the sequels. Dawn Dover Spike says, super fun reading, funny, smart, thrill-seeking, and loyal to the end. Looking forward to finding out what happens next. Bring on book 2. And then Kirsten says, looking for something to make you laugh uproariously while simultaneously contemplating the deeper meaning of life? Look no further because this is the book for you. I definitely agree, but I would like to hear your opinion. Leave me some comments, give me a thumbs up if this book review helped you decide whether or not to read this book, or you wanted to know a little bit more going in. And thanks so much for stopping by.